What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker podcast. I'm Nick Baker. Across from me, Shane Good.
What's up?
And we're here to talk to you about some video games. First things first, man. What have we been playing?
All right. Well, as you all have figured out at this point, I have a hard-on for RPGs, man.
Yeah.
RPGs. Give me a grind. I'll be there for days.
Right on.
So Diablo 3 released their Season 17. Currently in the top 500 for Demon Hunters. That's kind of like, it's where I sit.
So on the grand scope of things, what does that actually mean? Like, where are you at? How many ranked members are there of this?
So there's probably, it's kind of hard to say. There's probably like 10 or 12,000 people that have Demon Hunters that push greater rifts, and I'm in the top, like...
Probably shouldn't whistle.
Huh?
I probably shouldn't whistle. I got a note.
Yeah, this is true. But yeah, so there's, 12,000-ish people probably somewhere in that neighborhood of people that play Demon Hunter and actually try and push greater rifts. Right now my top is a 105. So, yeah, 105 at like 12 minutes and 40 seconds or something like that.
Holy cow.
So I'm like it's up there. I think the number one spot is a 113 right now, which is, I mean the league is like 4 days old. So I have a couple people in the clan that I play with. They're currently, I think there's 94 hours currently the season's been out, and they've logged some crazy like 81 hours or something like that.
That game is super impressive to me. It came out, in 2015, 2014?
Well, Reaper of Souls did.
Okay, so Diablo 3's been out for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's been out 8 years.
My point, anyway, is just the post-launch content that they just keep pushing into that game. That's really impressive, and honestly, man, Blizzard is the kings of that.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft has been supported for so long. I can't believe they keep supporting these games for such a long time, but obviously the fans love them for it, and they had a few missteps at their last conference, right, with announcing Immortals, the mobile game, but... I think that the goodwill that they've built up over time, especially now with Diablo and with all these different seasons and like you said, the Necromancer thing that they added a few years back, which is now, I guess, 4 years ago.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy.
Yeah, just insane that they keep launching more seasons for that game, and it's still fun.
It is. I mean, enough about me. I know you have to be getting close to Persona 5 at this point. Like, come on.
Dude, so I finished, spoilers for the next, minute or so for Persona 5. I think the second to last palace I'm on right now, Shido. I've just finished that. I beat that boss. Now I'm waiting. I'm in December. I think this is the last month. And then I go into Mementos and I fight... whatever's down there to finish her all off, because that's where the story is taking me at this point. So that's where I am with that. Hopefully I'm at a good enough level range, because like your wife said, that she kind of had some trouble with it. I'm kind of going off that. I'm being really, really protective with my experience, like trying to get up there in level before I make a move towards the end game. But the other side things that I've been playing, me and Shay actually dipped into Cuphead for the first time, and on Switch, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
man. I love the art style, man. I can't believe I waited so long to play that game, and
is it difficult?
It's hard. We played the first level, the first platformer level, and then we played 2 boss levels. We beat one. It was the garden.
Yep.
And you fought like a potato, an onion, and a carrot, and they all had these crazy
Bosses
powers.
Are so cool.
And then the second boss fight was against these 2 frogs. One was a boxer, and one spit fireflies. It was like a New Orleans style. I think it was like a dance hall or maybe a theater or something like that.
Yep.
But really, really fun. And then Overcooked is the other one me and Shay have been chipping away at, and that game, the DLC for it is actually really challenging to get those 3 stars in each competition, or each level, or whatever you want to call it. Man, it's so the recipes and the things that you have to do. You have to carry backpacks around now. You have to keep campfires going, and it's a lot of fun in the new DLC. I think it's actually called the Campfire something or other, but it's a lot of fun, and we've been slaying that. So
Nice.
anyway, so let's switch gears.
Yeah, let's
get into
dig
the big
into it.
topics of the week. The first one I wanted to bring up was, in fact, I don't think it's really a huge topic, but I think it's interesting whenever a new foot gets stepped into the console space.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not exactly a full-fledged console, but more of like a handheld. It's a Playdate from the developers of Firewatch, Panic Incorporated. This thing is like a strange little handheld device, sort of like a Game Boy. It's yellow. It has a weird hand crank on it that has specific controls that are either utilized in game or not.
Interesting.
It's really strange. It's almost like a Game & Watch style black and white screen, very very small, but it brings back a lot of that old school gamer vibe where it's just that like Donkey Kong style, really simplistic art styles and stuff like that. It just seems really cool, and
Sounds really interesting.
For what I had considered an indie developer in the Firewatch team to come out and just all of a sudden put this handheld out there. It's pretty impressive, I think.
I mean, it's definitely really interesting. I mean, when you told me originally, the first thought that I had was Tamagotchi. So part of me really hopes that they just have like a Tamagotchi game.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that it's not going to happen, but man, would it be really fun? I'd totally buy one.
If they got like a license for the Tamagotchi thing, I think they could bring it back, especially with all the nostalgia that everybody's been hyped on lately.
The licensing for Tamagotchi's got to be like $5. Come on.
Oh, yeah, I mean, who has that at this point? Like,
I don't even like Hasbro. Maybe Hasbro Games.
Was Hasbro the company that did that?
I don't even know. Hasbro owns so many like game rights.
Anyway, Tamagotchi on the Playdate. Let's go. Start a petition. The next topic is also kind of a little thing that I saw online today. The Mario Kart mobile beta opened in Japan, I think, a couple days ago, and there were some leaks for the U.S. App that said that the controls were going to just be just kind of swipe based, where you keep your finger on the display and you swipe back and forth to steer, but your cart was constantly in motion.
Interesting.
So there was that. They had the old rosters coming back. The usual suspects: Mario, Luigi, Peach, and all that.
Waluigi?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I mean,
at this point, I really feel like he's integrated into pretty much everything else, like Mario Party,
not Smash,
Mario Tennis, not Smash. Well, I mean, assist trophy, right, guys?
I don't
know
know
a lot
about
of
that.
people were happy about that.
I don't know about that one. Not to start the war again.
No, I'm sure people would love to start that war again. Sakurai is sitting up in his ivory tower like, you will have a Joker. And you will like it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But anyway, just a small little glimpse into what that could be. Honestly, Nintendo's just been killing it with the mobile games.
Oh, yeah.
A few missteps, I think, with Animal Crossing. The Animal Crossing one wasn't very good. But, I mean, I think if they brought that back and paired it with the new Switch game, the new Animal Crossing Switch that they're supposedly coming out with this year, I think that they really could have something cool on their hands.
I mean, I will, just to kind of touch on that, the Animal Crossing is good game, not my style, but good,
right.
It's a good solid game. I think Stardew Valley for mobile content, they've got somebody to beat now.
Right.
And they've got like something to strive for. So we'll see if they're able to put something out that'll reach Stardew Valley.
Stardew definitely set the bar for that type of farming sim, and I think that if Nintendo's going to come out with an Animal Crossing, I think it's going to be next level. Like, it's going to be Switchified, if that's a coined term already. It
is now.
Yeah, it is now. So anyway, we'll keep our eyes on that. I think that's definitely going to open up some new doors for Nintendo mobile platform games, and we'll see what comes out of that. But anyway, then the next thing is let's say our prayers. The Ouya's dying.
Oh my gosh.
The Ouya, the fan.
Yeah, it was like a fan-fed, like...
console just came out of nothing practically, and came out. I want to say it made a splash, but it really didn't. And I mean, having it on here even is just a little awkward. But
it was the first one. Right?
One of the first, I'm pretty sure, one of the first crowdfunded consoles that actually came out and actually made an impact and got into people's homes, but they had so many problems with people not getting their systems on time when they pre-ordered, or not pre-ordered, but they were backers.
Backers.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So pour one out for the Ouya. I think that's well said. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on that too much.
Yup.
But anyway, segue into one of your topics of the week.
100%.
This is definitely in your wheelhouse. Let's hear about some Path of Exiles.
So, as all of the Path of Exile players are very excited and know about at this point in the game, patch 3.7 is going to be dropping for the Legion League, which will be the next league, being the 7th league, I believe. It's either the 6th or the 7th league for Path of Exile, and this league will bring massive updates to Melee. They're rebuilding all of the Melee skills, they're rebuilding the way that they work. They're allowing you to cancel animations now, which beforehand you weren't able to cancel animations, so you would do like a double attack with double strike, and it would feel super clunky because you'd have to finish the entire animation before you could move, and a boss really doesn't care if you finish your animation. He's just going to smack you with the club. So if you're fighting the Elder or something like that, he's just kind of pop you, and you're just going to be dead, and that's pretty frustrating for the hardcore players out there. Or the not hardcore players as well. But so they're allowing animation cancels. They're redoing a ton of skills, one of which I'm really excited is the Cyclone ability. It's a massive AoE, and now they're showing you AoEs like is a visual representation, which before they didn't. You just had to the AoE is probably like about this range, and if you were in range and doing damage, you were in range.
Okay, so what does that mean? Does it before only have just like the animation that came up on screen, and now has like maybe a parameter bar or a square?
Yeah,
or a circle
they changed the animation, the skill animation.
Oh, okay.
So
it's more precise, like where it ends and begins.
It's the hitbox of the skill animation is actually the sprite for the animation itself now.
Oh, okay.
So the Cyclone ability is, imagine a person whipping a chain in a circle. And before, you didn't have that. You just had the character, the sprite, spinning in a circle, versus now you can actually see the weapon.
Oh, okay.
And the range of the weapon is the visual.
So that seems like a pretty impressive update.
It's
if they're
massive.
adding that for a lot of skills.
I don't know, probably like 40 or 50 different skills. They're remastered, they redid all of the Melee skills, and they added 7 or 8 different skills that we know of, and possibly more. Plus, they added a new movement skill for Melee characters that'll be an instant move skill, so there'd be no cast time, and that's really big for that game.
Right, it seems like seconds are pretty sparing.
Yeah. So an instant ability is. Oh, I know what you meant. An instant ability is a guaranteed chance to see something coming and be able to dodge it immediately, versus think about something coming and hoping you timed your skill correctly.
Right.
So very excited about that. The Legion League itself, this league mechanic is absolutely insane. They delved into what league mechanic did everybody like the best, and then they were they took the base of it and they just made it as good as they possibly could. This league mechanic is there's warring factions.
Right.
And you'll be able to go into different maps with warring faction coins, basically, or like a currency kind of I believe they're map pieces or fragments, but you'll be able to put them into your map device with a map and be able to pick sides on which war you want to participate in, and then a bunch of enemies will show up frozen, and you'll be able to select what enemies you want to fight by attacking them. So you have like 15 seconds to attack all the enemies that you want to fight, or the best enemies, or like the weakest enemies, or ones that you can kill easily. And then after that 15 seconds is up, the battlefield will all disappear except for the enemies that you attacked. So then you'll be able to like reap the rewards of the enemies that you kill. So you'll be able to actually kind of pick your rewards in some ways too. If you know this enemy drops a specific thing and that's what you're kind of going for, you'll be able to select, or kind of like, you'll be able to just focus a little harder on what you really want to play against. So it'll be a very interesting league mechanic.
Yeah,
very excited.
Pretty intensive for an update. That's awesome. It's just like we were talking about with Diablo. Like, pretty impressive that they keep pushing more content into these games. Love to see it, man.
It's it'll be good. It's not. I believe it comes out June 22nd. Don't quote me on that. But the big update is somewhere towards the end of June, if not July, if I remember correctly. Usually, the league ends, and 30 days are in between the big update. So,
all right, Path of Exiles fans, you know what to get your teeth into at the end of June.
Oh yeah.
All right, so for our last and biggest topic of the week, I think it's on everybody's tongue as far as the gaming news scene goes. Microsoft and Sony partnered to improve game streaming services, so they're going to be utilizing Microsoft's Azure systems to improve AI and stuff like that. And I assume next gen, but maybe we could see something as soon. Well, I guess it's probably pretty early on, so probably next gen's a good bet anyway. But yeah, I mean, partnering up on this cloud gaming thing, it seems like they're really trying to gear up for next generation against Google and possibly even Apple. They said that they were going to have some streaming services coming out within the next few years. But Google, I guess they're going to enter the playing field this year, so we'll see about that. But this, I mean,
Apple just did too, so.
Right, so we'll see what this brings in the future, but I think it's really cool to see these two actually kind of shaking hands, kissing and making up after all the fuss of last generation, especially towards the beginning of this generation, where they really had some hard-hitting slugs to one another.
Especially, I mean, if we're playing the history game, you go back, I mean, originally we're going to make a console together, and then Sony backed out.
Yeah. Well, was that Microsoft and Sony, or was that Nintendo? I believe in the 90s it was Sony and Nintendo. I
thought Microsoft and Sony at one point were trying to make a console together.
Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll have to look into that for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. But I do remember that Sony was going to partner with Nintendo to make a disc-based system in the 90s.
Yeah.
And Nintendo
it was supposed to be the Dreamcast, right?
I think that eventually...
Or is that became the Dreamcast?
The Dreamcast was Sega, so...
Oh, okay.
That was their whole... their answer to whatever Sony was doing. They wanted to get into that disc scene, the CD-based scene, anyway. And but yeah, Nintendo didn't want to put their games on disc because they felt that load times were going to impede gamers into the future.
Couldn't they see the future?
And honestly, the PS1 really did have a lot of problems with load times, and they did see that coming. And I think it was really just the ability to play CDs and stuff like that saved the Sony PlayStation 1 and marketing and all the great games that they came out with. You know, there were a handful of things. But anyway, this partnership going forward, I think that honestly it's going to be great for gamers, because now more than ever, we'll talk about it in the next segment, but crossplay has really become a big deal in the gaming scene, whether it be cross console or even cross into PC, which
Yup.
you know you and me love because
Not a lot of them do it, but man,
yeah,
when they do,
when we actually get to play with one another, it's actually pretty great. We played Fortnite a bunch. You know, back about a year ago. You know, when
it was fun.
Yeah, when they really first introduced that. I guess it wasn't a year ago, probably like 6-8 months, but who's counting? Anyway, Sony, Microsoft, shaking hands, gotta love it. But
I mean,
I think gonna see some great things out of both of them anyway. We're gonna see Microsoft here at E3, so we'll see what they come out with and announce. Do you have any thoughts on this partnership?
I mean, I think it'll be E3 is going to be very interesting, especially with the announce of this. And on top of that, it makes me think about, Sony pulling out of E3, Microsoft not pulling out of 3. They're working on project together. I wonder what type of information Microsoft will hold under their belt at E3, because Sony isn't going to be at E3, and if your business partner doesn't want you to release information about a project, then obviously you wouldn't want to release information about a project. So I wonder where they'll go with it and stuff like that. I wonder how big of a piece will play into it.
I admit they might not come out with stuff as soon as E3 is, like with Azure and Sony, that partnership. But I think that they might hold back some things because Sony can drop things any time in the year now with their states of play.
That's really good too.
The Microsoft, I forget what they call theirs, like Xbox.
Talk to a PC guy.
Yeah, man. Anyway, they're little Xbox events. They're Xbox Directs, we'll call them, because we're all just copying Nintendo's
pretty much
style of presentation.
Well, they do it right, so
I think that they hold some stuff back and like sparse it out throughout the year, and that would make a lot of sense if they were trying to compete, or not compete, but kind of keep par with Sony's announcements throughout the year. Or maybe even now that Sony's kind of had a few less exclusives and they're not pushing as hard. Maybe they back off a little bit, let Microsoft have some leeway. Maybe that partnership works out that way. I don't know. We'll see.
That is true. I mean, at the very least, I hope that we'll get more cross-play games, and that E3 will definitely have some really good cross-play games that, maybe we'll see some PoE crossplay. There's been some talk about that as well.
Yeah. Is Path of Exiles? No, Path of Exiles isn't on console, is it?
It is.
It is.
It is.
Oh.
It's in its early stages. It's just a wee baby. It's a good game, but
is it free to play?
It is.
Holy crap. All right. So I guess I have something to go check out for next week.
It is, but segue with that cross-play. I played this game before, but I didn't realize that it had actually released Dauntless.
Oh yeah, all right. So this is one of the bigger games. At least it came out for PS4 this week.
Yep.
Dauntless. It's like a Monster Hunter like RPG, action RPG, co-op. Very, very similar to, like I said, to Monster Hunter. It feels almost like I said before we watched a little bit of gameplay. It seems like almost like a tech demo for it, where all the textures and stuff seem kind of blasé, but the gameplay itself looked pretty smooth and fun.
Definitely a smooth gameplay, very fluent.
Yeah. Seems really cool. I'm definitely gonna try it. It seems like it'd be a great game for us to try out together. You said you can play with a controller on PC too. That's pretty cool. Plug and play.
It's plug and play, which is fantastic, because especially with big issues for computers is PlayStation 4 controllers. You have to set everything up by yourself. You have to get a separate program, DS4. You have to get a program the entire controller to work with your computer,
right,
and then save a profile. And then as you go into different games, it's different.
Oh man.
So like it's nice. It recognizes the PS4 controller. You just plug it in. It's got everything all mapped out. All you have to do is maybe change, one or two buttons. It saves a lot of time. It's very nice. So
yeah, that's awesome. And like I said, the gameplay looks great for this one. I think that you can customize your avatar just like Monster Hunter. It's very simplistic. I saw a little bit, but
not a ton of changes. But
I actually watched a little bit of Andy Cortez from Kind of Funny. He played it on his stream, and it looked pretty good. It looked like he was having a pretty good time.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so that's it for Dauntless. The next game came out this week.
Yeah, this is
Team Sonic Racing, man.
Man.
School kart racer style. Like, what do you think, man?
So we watched a little bit of the gameplay. Better than I thought it would be. I saw it on Steam because I wake up, go straight to Steam. No,
Wake up, Steam.
Yeah, I was browsing through Steam's games like I always do, and I happened to see that it was released, and I was like, that looks interesting. It's kind of expensive. I probably won't really get into it, but watching that gameplay, man, that is high speed gameplay.
It
teams
always,
like
I always think about this type of a game when we're sitting at our friend's house and we're playing Jackbox for the millionth time.
Oh
man, I would just love to play either, Mario Kart or, Sonic Team Racing. This game is such a cool party atmosphere game. Any type of kart racer like that, it really brings that party feel. And when you're just slamming around, you're teaming up in this one especially. You have team boosts where you follow your teammate and their trail speeds you up, and you can create like a slingshot effect.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think Mario Kart has a similar aspect. When you bump into somebody, you can use them as a boost afterwards, but I almost like this idea better because I think that only your teammates can benefit from the backdraft or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So it seems pretty cool that way, and Teamwork Racers really, I don't think there's really many.
Yeah, especially in this form, and I mean you can even do LAN parties.
Yeah.
Which is really like.
Yeah.
Nobody's shipping LAN parties out nowadays, especially not split screen and stuff like that. That's just a thing of the past.
IGN gave it an 8.5, which is pretty glowing, I think, for a Sonic Racing game.
Yeah. What's
funny is the notorious Sonic hater Max Scoville reviewed it, and he gave it an 8.5. So, I mean, he doesn't even like the mascot, so that the racing mechanics and stuff like that must be on par with 8.5 games. So, it's maybe a good game to pick up when maybe it comes on sale or.
I think it was $40 on Steam, so I don't know what the price point is for the consoles.
I imagine it's probably a $60 release on consoles. Not quite sure. If it's $40, I mean it's not bad.
It's not terrible.
I mean, it's cheaper than Mario Kart because Mario Kart is going to stay a solid $60 unless you see a sale. It brings it down maybe to $50.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely worth the pickup if you happen to see it on sale, though.
So yeah, I think that's everything we got for this week. But before we go, I want to wish you a fun trip.
Yeah, it'll be going.
Tell the folks where you're going.
So I'll be going to New York. Mm-hmm. Which people listening to this podcast they don't know until tomorrow that I'm going to New York.
Exactly. So when we post this, it was probably gonna be around like. I think last week was like 6 on Friday. I think I actually said a premiere, So it'll probably be 6 again this Friday. Mm-hmm. Unless, you want to keep the secret, let me know. But
well, I mean, I'll be in New York by 6 on Friday. So.
Nobody's listening to this anyway at this point, right? So anyway, I feel like I wanted to wish you a fun trip. It's going to be awesome, dude. You guys are going to Manhattan. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be super fun. It'll be a good time for sure.
Sweet.
Well, thanks for stopping by. I mean, what do we got? We got a bell. We got a red bell that if you hit it, you get updates. We got a subscribe button that when you click it, this weird thing happens where you just you start following us, then you start seeing all the updates that we do, which is that's pretty tits if you ask me. I don't know. What do you got anything to add for that?
Hell yeah, man. Just like, subscribe, share. Tell us what you think in the comments section. Have a great week. See you guys. Peace.
Peace.